comes in a red bucket?
I have no idea. I just know one that has like a flag in the background. A real pretty
That's
flag
it.
in the front.
That's it.
Okay, I know the gal that took the photograph, and I know the horse. That's
Oh.
Bobby Pope.
Who is it?
It's Bobby Pope's photograph.
Oh, Bobby.
Another company that does it. It's a very good brand.
I tell you what, do you see how different she looks?
She's beautiful. Yeah.
I have noticed a big difference.
Her coat is absolutely stunning.
Do you see how much blacker she is?
Yeah, I remember because a couple of weeks ago I remember saying she was looking a little bit brown. Because the first time I saw her, I didn't think so.
Yeah.
Very good. Is that scaring you? Or are you going to ignore that? Well, there it is. At the walk, you're handling this pretty well. You may be internalizing a lot of this, but so far I like the frame.
Maybe, or she hasn't seen it.
Yeah, it's real come unglued when you're crying. I think it was Ray Hunt who used to tie a lunge line in the inside stirrup.
Ah.
You could pull it and kick with it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a neat thing to be able to let a horse see that really move, like a leg's going to
Yeah.
eventually. I think it was Ray.
Did you meet him?
Yeah, he judged a horse show at Cal Poly when I was riding him. And I had a very nice chat with him. Because the horse I was riding, something or other Miss Universe, she'd come out of Utah, she's about this tall. I'm not kidding. She was 13 too, maybe. A Boss granddaughter with beautiful Arabian ears you could have bought.
But Bosk is hot, 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 hot.
Well, she wasn't. She was a very sensible little mare. She had kind of a rough life. Bosk on the top. I don't remember what was on the bottom, but it didn't matter because she'd been so malnourished as a baby that her legs were really, really stunted.
Oh.
She had feet that were probably between a 1 and a 2.
Ooh.
Good size feet. And a good sized barrel. And the knee joints and the hock joints were normal size, but the legs were just short, which made me think at some point in her growth, she didn't get what she needed. Her head was not real attractive. Had she been a saddlebred, it would have been lovely. It was kind of narrow, and there was a slight Roman thing going there.
Oh.
Arab, that's kind of
And that was your horse.
That was my special horse. Oh yeah, the head trainer and I did not particularly get along.
I was going to say, who did you make?
Horse assignments. Who were going to give Kathy? She was a horse that was brought in foal, and they were going to film the foaling, and so they induced the labor, and everything went wrong. It was the biggest disaster. The foal came out upside down and backwards.
Oh my God.
So what looked like a normal presentation of hooves was actually the hind feet coming out, and her front feet were taking the uterus with her. It was horrible. Dr. Hackett was the lead vet there, and he got her through it. The foal, they lost the foal. There were a lot of problems with the foal. And again, this mare, the way she was built, shaped, etc., made me think nutritionally had really been deprived. Kind of fattened up when she was sent here, but I don't think that had been the case all along.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dr. Hackett just felt so horrible about what had happened to this little horse. And it was funny because he would come down and ask me how she was doing regularly.
Oh.
I called her Scooter because I thought she looked like a roller skater. It was funny because when I got her, I had the foaling, it must have been May. She pretty much was put out in pasture and fed. So when I got assigned to her in September, she was pretty bad. And didn't really have any withers to speak of, but she could roll on her back and get stuck. She was so fat you couldn't find them without pushing on her back, fat to find them.
Oh my gosh.
The structure in general was sort of buried under a layer. So, yeah, it was interesting to see a horse that could get stuck on her back. One more.
Like a turtle.
Yeah, exactly. Stuck like a turtle. But I got her under saddle in 2 weeks. I mean, she wanted a friend.
Aww.
And we just bonded. We just, everything I'd show her, she'd just kind of go, yeah, okay, don't hurt me with it, I'm good, and off we went. So yeah, in about 2 weeks I was on her back in the bullpen, which I hated because it's a solid wall bullpen. Oh yeah, it's like being in a tunnel. And which was kind of my complaint of going, it's really great if you want your horse's total focus on you, but in the real world that never happens.
Yeah.
So I had her out of the bullpen pretty quick. And I remember I'd been riding her for a while, and I'm out in the arena, and we're trotting around. And Allison comes out there with rain on. She was like, get the hell out of the way.
Ah.
And, she's doing doing the locomotive thing. And basically, all arena rules apply to everybody except Allison. You just get out of the way. So we're dodging her right and left. And the little horse is going along just fine. And then Allison pulls up next to me. And you never want this to happen. Something bad will now happen. And she snaps at me something about, you need to have a running martingale on her.
What?
Okay, now this mare was built with a neck that came out of her
Yeah.
like this. I mean, she couldn't have done that to save her life. Had the last trees, the last vegetation on the planet been a tree, she would have starved to death. It wasn't happening. Yes, yeah, you're posing lovely, but I'd like to head down. And then we're going to trot and watch that stirrup drop and see what happens. Anyhow, she told me I needed a running martingale, and of course, I came from a dressage background, and I kind of looked at her and said, why? Nobody apparently has ever questioned the elbow.
Oh.
And as she's, getting her horse to explode around me, she says, because we ride with martingales here. Okay. So I went in and talked to Norm Dunn, who was in charge of the unit at the time, and had a better sense of humor about Allison than most people. So, okay, this is my encounter with your head trainer. And he kind of rolled his eyes because I had questioned her, and nobody else had
Kathy.
And he's like, well, Kathy, to keep the peace, would you put one on her? But I see your point. And I said, okay, I'll let her wear one.
Yeah, she can wear one.
So I did. I put it on her, and I tied the two thong pieces into a bow. Did not run my reins through the rings, but it was, she had a bow tie on her neck.
Yeah.
And we continued to ride. He came out to watch me a couple times, and I mean, the mare had a very low set neck. And she was giving nice, going round, and he looked at me and he kind of went, yeah, okay, I see your point. Allison comes by about 3 days later with a big old grin on her face because obviously she sees the neck strap. She knows I have a martingale, and it was about 4 laps later that the smile disappeared when she realized it. And, at that point, it's like, just don't even talk to me about it.
And she let
words about it later. I said, Allison, do you really think the horse needs a martingale? And she had to admit that no, it really didn't.
she just wanted to put you in your place.
She wanted to have the control, and I said, if it was needed, I wouldn't have a problem with using it. I understand how they're used, why they're used, and I've used them.
Yes.
But in this particular instance, it was the last thing on my mind to put on this horse, for obvious reasons. Anyway, Ray came up and judged the show. It was an intercollegiate horse show, and I remember we placed in the class, which was kind of hysterical, because I mean, you want to place an equitation class, you cannot place the rider whose legs can touch the riding. And he was very complimentary. He said, you did a nice job. He said, did you train this horse? I said, yeah, from the beginning. He's done a nice job with her. She's real quiet. She said, it's going to be a good horse for you. And there's the on the other side. Anyway, Dr. Hackett ended up buying that horse.
You're kidding.
They were thinning out the herd. Every year they make their sale list, and Allison immediately put her on the sale list. She wasn't about to keep that around. And I'm sure that was, for my benefit. And before they could take her to the Arab sale, Dr. Hackett went ahead and bought her for his kids. I could ride her past the swine unit at Cal Poly with the pigs slamming the feeder lids.
Wow.
She wasn't phased. You could open umbrellas on her back, which I did. As soon as we were out of that bullpen, we never went back. I mean, it was as much trail riding around the campus as I could do, and that's a pretty scary place to ride. Between the livestock and the feeder lids and the big unit was solid work. She was fine with it. She's a pretty unflappable little horse. So I think she was 5 when I broke her. So he bought her when she was 6. And he kept her for the kids, and when the kids finally started outgrowing her, he gave her back to the college as an equitation horse.
Oh, wow.
She continued living there for quite some time.
Oh, he really cared about her then.
He felt so bad about what had happened, and it's like, that little horse had it. Like, yeah, it was nice. I saw that. Yes, for a brief and shining moment, he relaxed. I want that stirrup to fall down.
I know.
It's going to. Right about the time you breathe and relax. There it goes. Yep. What?
I can see what we're going to be doing this month.
It's going to be a lot. And I love that you had string on the saddle, and you just keep playing with it. She's just going to have to learn that it's not hurting her, and it's okay to be there. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I sure do.